Welcome back to the gun dungeon, guys. Got some little rim fires out here on the range today. Got my little Beretta 21A Bobcat. Got this old H&R 686 22 long rifle revolver. And then my old trusty Ruger. This is the 2245. This is the Target model Mark III. Love that little gun. I've had it for a long time. And we're just going to talk about 22 long rifles in handguns and kind of some of the practical uses and maybe not so practical uses. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into one of the first roles you often see 22 handguns being deployed in, and it's going to be self-defense. It's not the best idea to carry a 22 long rifle, but if that's all you got, that's all you got. You're going to have to use it. It's going to be better than harsh words to protect yourself with. And, you know, most of the time you're looking at something probably like this. This fits in a pocket. And, you know, before the days of the Kel-Tec P380, the LCPs, and the pocket mouse gun 380s, you were fairly limited to pocket-sized guns. And this was honestly probably one of the most pocketable sized guns that you could get before the modern mouse gun era. You know, the 1903 Colt 32, that was called a pocket hammerless. That's a bit large for a pocket gun by today's standards, but this fit right in a pocket. I think Colt even made a vest pocket. It may have been a 25. But, you know, small, deep concealment, something like that. 22 may fit the needs, or if you just all you got. There may be a couple other applications where 22 may be used for home defense, personal defense, concealed carry, things of that nature. Maybe you're just very, very recoil sensitive. Someone that doesn't shoot a lot, doesn't like recoil, not comfortable with anything larger than a 22. Or maybe in something like this that has a pop-up barrel, you don't have to rack a slide, so you don't have to worry about having extreme hand strength or anything like that. So there are plausible applications where 22s could be used in self-defense, whether it's concealed carry or even home defense. Now, is it the best idea? Probably not. If you can get by with something else, you're probably better off. And there's a couple reasons. One, 22 is pretty anemic. We're not going to argue that it's not. And I know there'll be people that'll hop in the comments and say, well, 22's killed more people than any other caliber or any other round out there. Well, yeah, and bees have killed more people than hammerhead sharks, but I'd much rather go slap a hornet's nest than I would jump into a tank with a hammerhead shark. I think you kind of get my point there. Also, rimfire ammunition typically has a higher failure rate when it comes to ignition than centerfire, and that's just all based in the manufacture of rimfire ammunition and how the primer compound is spun around the rim and has to have a good even coating for the firing pin to strike the rim and set the cartridge off. They're just more prone to failure than centerfire. So if I go into essentially anything else, you're going to get away from the rim fire, which is a good thing in my opinion. Now, when it comes to other applications, like say this little bad boy here, I say little, but it's one of the largest ones on the table here. I have used this gun for many years squirrel hunting. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it served its role well. And the reason that I did that is because I typically squirrel hunt with a 12 gauge shotgun, and I'll use 7.5 shot, number 8 shot, something like that to squirrel hunt with. But I could carry that on my side to where if the shotgun wasn't practical, I could still kill a squirrel with a 22 just with carrying a handgun. I didn't have to carry a rifle and a shotgun. And it actually shoots well enough to do that. They're extremely fun to shoot. 22 long rifles you can shoot all day long for pennies on the dollar when you're comparing to a center fire gun. So there are all kinds of good reasons to have 22 long rifle handguns. Now, like I said, defense probably not the best reason, but they sure are fun. And when it comes to small game, they can even be pressed into a role for hunting applications. I know people carry stuff like this or Ruger single 6 or something like that. A lot of times in our trap lines around here, we have quite a few trappers in this area, and most of them will carry a 22 or 22 Magnum revolver on their trap lines. I don't know if that's just a tradition thing or if there's a reason for it. I'm not a big trapper, so I don't know, maybe it does less damage to a hide or something, but that seems to be common application for around these parts anyways. So that makes sense. Coon hunters, a lot of coon hunters carry 22 handguns, light, a lot lighter than a rifle. Some of them actually carry 22 crickets sometimes too, the little short youth rifles, the coon hunters anyways. But I mean, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of velocity from a rifle to a handgun when it comes to terminal performance, but we're not talking about super great terminal performance to start with when it comes to 22. So it is what it is. They make some ammunition better than others. The Stingers are pretty good. From what I can tell, the Federal Punch is pretty good. So I don't have a lot of qualms on that. It's a 22. It don't matter really what it is. You're going to poke a little 22 caliber hole. Is what it is. Now, when it comes to training new shooters, I think a 22 long rifle handgun is probably one of the best options that you can possibly have when it comes to training a new shooter on a handgun. It's going to be very, very low recoil. It's not going to have a big muzzle blast. There's not a lot of noise associated with it, a lot of violent reaction in your hand from the recoil. And they're typically going to be comfortable with it much quicker than they would a centerfire. Now, here is one of my qualms, or something that I don't necessarily agree with when it comes to 22 long rifle handguns, and that is training for an advanced shooter. And I have an example here like this. This is made to have replicate the grip angle, the trigger, the ergonomics, everything is supposed to replicate a 1911. That's why it's called the 2245. And you'll notice the grip angle is much different than a standard Mark III or Mark IV. That is to kind of help you use this gun to train with, and if you carry a 1911, so on and so forth. Now, if we're just talking about just basic fundamentals, sure, it's going to work for that, but that isn't what I would consider an advanced shooter scenario for training. If you already have plenty of center fire experience, you already concealed carry, you already train, you already are pretty comfortable with your firearm and have shot several rounds, several thousand rounds probably, I don't think there's a lot of value in shooting the 22 over your center fire other than just the cost. But even then, if we're going to just base it on cost, you're probably going to get about the same return off just dry fire practice. Now, you know, they make the Glock 44, which is supposed to replicate the Glock 19. There's an M&P 22 that's replicate the M&P 9mm, and so on and so forth. And I get the appeal to do that. But if you're an advanced shooter, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to gain from that. And let me show you why. Because this is much different than this. Big difference when it comes to the reaction of the gun in your hand, 22 versus a 45 ACP. Y'all be sure to go check out Vetter Holsters, big sponsor of the channel. Have about any kind of holster you can think of. There's one of the cool designs that they have. You saw the blood red holster for my XDM 10mm. They make a holster for just about any gun out there. A lot of the 10mm stuff. I use their light tuck. That's about all I use anymore for inside the waistband stuff. Great products, great company. Check out Vetter Holsters. You all be sure to go check out Target Sports USA. They're a big sponsor of the channel now. And if you use my link below, you're going to get a free gift at checkout with your purchase. Their Ammo Plus membership is a great value. If you shoot very much at all through the year, it's going to pay for itself in no time and then some. Be sure to check out Target Sports USA. And they may actually inspire a little bit of overconfidence because honestly, they're so easy to shoot and fun. Did I mention fun earlier? I'm pretty sure I mentioned fun, but just watch. Kind of hard to miss with, even shooting fast. Super fun to shoot, but it's a whole lot different than a full power 45, 1911, even an all steel frame. You're not going to be tracking the sights. You're not going to be controlling recoil impulse. holding down the muzzle rise, it's a lot different. And yeah, I get it. The mechanics are the same as far as your trigger pull, your thumb safety, the whole 9 yards. But when you're comparing apples to apples and shooting them side by side, it's almost like two totally different guns, even though the controls are same, because it does not react the same. You can't shoot it the same. You have to track your front sight with a full-size gun, with a center fire gun that has decent terminal performance. You're going to have to track your sights. You're going to have to mitigate recoil. You're going to have to grip the gun a little tighter, not let it flop. This, you can just hold it however you want to, because there's essentially no recoil. But as I said, they are fun to shoot, and you can spend a whole afternoon with your kids or your grandkids or whoever and have a blast, popping tin cans, shooting targets, poking holes in papers. Have a blast, and it ain't going to cost you hardly anything because it's 22. They're fun. And you know, something like this is not just fun to shoot, although it is fun to shoot. They're just a pleasure to manipulate and to operate and just whatever, because they're such quality little guns, and they're neat. The compactness, just the engineering that went in them is pretty cool. And I really like that tip-up barrel. Not sure why really, but this gun actually does have a practical application in my life, and I'll explain to you what it is. And it has a lot to do with that tip-up barrel for what I use it for, which probably isn't what a lot of people do. So what I use this gun for is, I don't know how many of you all have followed me long enough to know that we raise meat rabbits. This is my rabbit dispatcher. And the reason is, I don't like breaking the neck. I don't like using a bunny bopper or nothing like that, because I don't like them to get excited, get their adrenaline up, be trying to hold them, get their heads on up, all that to dispatch them. I like doing it quick with this. So what I do is I leave the magazine empty. And I'll get one out of a tote, because I'll put them all in a tote, take them to the butcher area. I'll get one out of a tote. I'll just kind of hold it on the ground there. I can pop my barrel open like that, and I can hold the rabbit on the ground still. It's not excited. Nothing crazy is happening. I have a long trigger pull, so I have my hand close, but I have a long trigger pull here, so no accidental manipulation because my hands are going to be close. I can put the gun where it needs to go, dispatch the bunny, and now the gun is back safe. The hammer is back, but there's nothing in the cylinder, so it's back completely safe. I'll pull the trigger again to get the hammer back forward, do what I gotta do with the bunny, grab another one, get the bunny. I will put one round back in the barrel. Now this has got that super long trigger pull again, so I don't have to worry about an accidental or negligent discharge. Get the second bunny out. Got a long trigger pull again. We're back to a very, very safe firearm because there's nothing in it, and I'm manipulating with one hand, so it makes it super easy. But that is my practical application for this little 22 handgun. And someone may say that this little Beretta isn't even very accurate. I don't know. Is it? Two for five with those sights. I think it's accurate enough. As far as this thing being accurate, I told you I squirrel hunt with it. I rushed that fifth one, but 4 for 5, just fairly quick, offhand. They're fun and they're accurate. Yeah, guys, go ahead and hit me in the comments and let me know what you thought about today's video, what you may use your 22 handgun for, what practical application you use them for. If you're using them to bunny bop, I definitely want you in the comments telling me what you use. But hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Till next time, guys, stay tuned.